Okay. Hey guys, welcome back to howtobuycrypto.com. I want to say thank you for everyone that's liked, commented, and subscribed. We do have new members, and I'm going to go ahead and switch over this screen share with you guys to show you the website and show you what I'm doing with the channel and things. So here's howtobuycrypto.com. For those of you, most of you are finding me on YouTube. There's a way to get on Coinbase, $10 for free. You just click the link to get back to YouTube. For those that are join us on that community. There's also here's my public profile page, my quick tip. You can just type that into Facebook here. The investing group. And you can, my quick tip investing, you can type that into Facebook, or you can type in my name. Oh boy. Or you can type in my name and find me here on Facebook. But I want to say thank you again. We got over 700 views. I was hoping to hit 1,000 in a month, and we're well on our way. It's less than 3 weeks, and 25 subscribers, which is awesome. And we got about 19 videos uploaded, and today's number 20. So I'm pretty excited about that. Keeping the ball rolling. And look, guys, I wanted to say, we got a number of comments. I can't get to everybody, but I will try and do my best to, talk to everybody on the different platforms and, get to everybody's questions back and forth. So basically, let me flip the camera and talk to you just a bit. So what I wanted to get at is that there are going to be people that are giving you advice that is terrible advice. YouTube, and on Reddit, and Twitter. There's all kinds of social media platforms, and I'm sure you guys understand that not everything on the internet is true. I know that you guys have that inherent understanding, but there are some people with big followings and diehard fans that are going to swear to you that the whatever X alt currency is going to double and triple, and I want just to encourage you guys to be careful with all of those. A friend of mine had said, you're just you're not the decider of my money. You're just, someone to help me, and I want you guys to look at it that way, that, the advice that I give is based on things that have worked for me, but based on when you guys invest and timing, the time of that you invest in the market. It's not always going to work exactly the same as, when I, got into the market. And obviously, since I've been doing this, the market is quadrupled and even more than that. So there are a lot of the currencies have their valuations have gone through the roof and really are not the same as, if I said I'm in this currency, doesn't mean that you should be buying that currency right now, because it might have spiked and then you buy it and then it dips right, right after you buy into it. And then you have those people that panic sell. And I understand, guys, that when you put your money into the market, it's an emotional thing. And because a lot of people work very hard to get, just a little bit to put into the market. And I get it, guys. I don't want you to feel like I don't value y'all's efforts and y'all's time and researching these investments. So, but I do want to encourage you that the whole market is just keeps it's got that uptrend. So be encouraged if you see dips, and obviously right now we're on a high. So I guess it was yesterday I missed telling you, talking about the dip. But I mean, the truth is the market's moving so fast, I won't be able to talk about every high and every dip. I use my cryptos. I tell you, it's like I treat them like gold and I hold them. And I encourage you guys to do the same thing and not to worry about swing trading and worry about arbitrage. And we're going to talk a little bit about arbitrage. And I do want to talk to you about people on YouTube and their followings. If you are on YouTube, watching me on YouTube, I encourage you to go to the My Quick Tip Investing group and join us there, and or on my public profile, because if you're not, you're missing out. There's some good people there with good advice, and there's it's kind of hard to keep track of where to get the right information, with people that care, about your money. So anyhow, I just want to encourage you guys, if you're on YouTube, go over to the My Quick Tip Investing group, and vice versa. If you're on My Quick Tip Investing, go over to the YouTube channel, subscribe and join. But I want to show you here quickly Got a negative comment here about a waste of time, which, guys, I don't care if people say stuff like that. Don't worry about defending my honor. Haters going to hate because, right below it says good quality video and sound. And I want to talk to you guys about this dude here, Clif High's $99 crypto report. This guy, feel free to look him up, but he is basically a gentleman that is doing reports on how to look at investing on crypto and how to, what he sees in the data based on his bots that crawl the internet. And what I want to tell you is basically, if you look him up and look up his reports, look up some of his videos, because I can't in good conscience recommend what he's saying, because he talks about aliens that walk on the earth, and he talks about anti-gravity devices, and he's talking about just some like way out there stuff. So he has had some solid hits, and I've noticed, because people, talk about him all the time, and I've looked him up and I've heard some of the stuff that he has to say. And I think he has some really, he's an older guy, so he's got some wisdom, and he's very interesting, very entertaining to listen to, because he is so, set on what he believes. And he talks about past lives and going through this matter that our bodies aren't really us, and it's really metaphysical, and just some crazy stuff. But I just, like I said, I've got some comments that are talking about his reports and this and that. I just want to say, if you hear about him, feel free to check him out and be entertained by him. But he is one of those guys. He calls himself a woo-woo guy. He talks about woo-woo stuff that's crazy, and he says, if you want to buy my reports, it should be throwaway money that you don't care about, that that you've made so much money investing, you don't care about wasting your money. And so someone that talks about their own material like that, you got to be very careful about what comes from him, whether or not he's accurate on his Bitcoin predictions, Ethereum. And he was talking about Veritasium, which is in the comment. But I just wanted to address that and tell you guys that, like I said, I can't in good conscience recommend that you listen to him based on his his crypto investing advice. But anyhow, in positive news, I was talking to a buddy about overseas, using Bitcoin overseas, which is super exciting to me. I do my study on blockchain technology and the benefits of it. And one of the things that, is awesome is, Bitcoin is a store of value. And when I get to talk to people about using it in third world countries, or using it in places that it's necessary to use, not just because it's something to invest in or something that can benefit you as far as something like, long-term investment like gold that was going to go up over time, but they're actually using it to survive and to spend on daily needs like food and water, which is amazing. And I think it's such an awesome way to look at the fact that Bitcoin is useful, and Bitcoin is still very in demand in many parts of the world. And I know there's a guy Adam Meister has on his show that was talking about Venezuela and how they want Bitcoin over U.S. dollars. They want Bitcoin over their bolivares. And he said that Bitcoin is their savior, and they buy things every day with it. And basically that they don't care about the fluctuation in price. It's still so much better than their economy and their currency. So the same in Zimbabwe. I have some friends from Zimbabwe, and I mentioned that they're using goats as currency. That's legal tender, that you can pay your kids' tuition with goats, because their dollar there, it takes $1 million for 3 eggs, because their inflation is way beyond control. And so it's really cool that these technologies are benefiting people like that. But what I wanted to talk about was arbitrage just for a moment, because you guys are seeing, the benefit of signing up on different exchanges and being able to move back and forth between them. And I just wanted to, just mention a word of caution there, because obviously I did say, yeah, you absolutely can do it. I have done it. I generally try and do it with smaller amounts of money. So the question was about, Bitcoin was I believe, higher on Poloniex than on Coinbase. And so if you transferred your Bitcoin over to Coinbase to Poloniex, then you could, sell it for that higher price, and you could sell it over into US dollar or the USDT, the dollar tether, and lock in your savings there. And I mentioned you can absolutely do that, and then you can buy, like I said, Litecoin is generally cheaper there on Poloniex than Coinbase, and so you could actually get much more out of that, that crossover trade. It's still within Poloniex. So I've done that before. I did it with Ethereum one time. I had Bitcoin that was cheaper on Coinbase, sold it to transferred it over to Poloniex, bought into Ethereum, which was cheaper on Poloniex than Coinbase, and then transferred my Ether back over to Coinbase and then back offline into a wallet. And it worked great. I ended up with more than what I started with, and, was able to get in and out without any trouble. But the thing is here, I didn't transfer a whole Bitcoin. I didn't, and I did this, when Ethereum was considerably cheaper, so I could get more than it is now. And the thing is, the downside of arbitrage is that when you see that, the price differentiation of $100 or more, guess what? You have to calculate in your fees, number one, to make sure that it is still profitable. And at $100, it should be profitable. And then number two, you got to hope that the exchange isn't going to tank. That either exchange, whatever you're going in and getting out of, isn't going to lock up and not let you do your orders, because this happens lately all the time. Because like I said, since the market has quadrupled and even more in size since we've been talking about this, that the arbitrage can become very dangerous if you're doing large amounts, because this is what can happen. In that same scenario where Poloniex was cheaper than Coinbase, once you transfer over to Poloniex, if Poloniex has a spike and Coinbase at the same time, so boom, they jump up, let's say $500 for Bitcoin, right? And then Bitcoin is $500 more expensive on both exchanges, but your Bitcoin is still locked up in the blockchain, and you're waiting for that transaction to confirm. Well, now you can sit it out and wait and say, hopefully it'll dip back down as far as the price, so that I can, pull my profit out. And you're like, great, $500 up is good. But what I'm saying is, like, what happens sometimes is, what if then now Poloniex drops by the time your transaction confirms, and then so the value is actually lower where you moved it to. You can hold it there and wait for for that to excuse me, sorry, my phone's ringing. Wait for that to go back, and but it might not move when you want it to. And the other side of it is if it never comes back to the price that you want it, and let's say you had moved into USDT, is kind of the full extent of this example. Moved into USDT, you were able to move it to Poloniex, you moved it into USDT, so that extra $100 you got, but then Bitcoin jumped up, and let's say the whole market jumped up, so actually buying back in cost you more than you would have gained by just holding on to it. And because of that, you got to be careful. And like I said, the exchanges might freeze, like we've seen that with Coinbase and Poloniex, and we've seen it on multiple exchange. Kraken, I know, had trouble with DDoS, and just overall in general, the exchanges are blowing up. So be careful with moving your currencies. And if you put in you're doing this play, and then you accidentally put in the wrong address, or you leave out a character, I'm always nervous when moving my currency, and I should be, because it's a lot of money. I've made tens of thousands of dollars doing this, and so moving stuff back and forth, I'm like, man, I want to make sure and read, all those numbers and get them down to the right values, and make sure I'm not missing a single, uppercase or lowercase or, number in there, because it's valuable. And so you got to be careful, but absolutely you can. I'm not saying you can't, and I've made money doing it. So, I can't foul you for it, or can't, say, don't do it 100%, but just, be careful as in anything. Ideally you would do it on not peak hours. So you had less congestion to deal with. And ideally, you wouldn't do it in large amounts. So you would do it in smaller amounts. So you wouldn't have to worry about, losing in the longer term. But anytime that your cryptos are on an exchange, there's the opportunity that something can go wrong, whether a hack, whether a crash, and so you have to be willing to understand that when your crypto is not in your hands and your secure wallet, that there are chances that things will go wrong. But that's the same with any bank. You can have a bank, a local bank that you trust your whole life, and then somebody hack your account and use your identification and spend that money. And sometimes it takes months to get back if you do. And sometimes these situations don't resolve. So just be careful overall, and hopefully, that everything runs smoothly for you, and you get out what you hope to. And guys, as a whole, if you just buy and hold it like gold, man, it's going to do well for you. So anyhow, guys, like, comment, subscribe, send me your questions, and hopefully, I'll hear from you soon. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.